Welcome back to the Pit Stop Ranch. This video, we're heading out to swap meet being put on by the early Ford V8 Club in Orange County, California, at the Elks Lodge in Buena Park. We went with high hopes of getting everything we need to finish this old girl up. And though we didn't quite get everything we need or wanted, we did get a few things, and stay tuned to the very end and I'll show you what we got from the pickings. Got a few things, we weren't just picking our noses, though we did a bunch of that too as well. There's also a very special car there that I was able to talk to the owner about that I enjoyed, and he was kind enough to include some extra footage, emailed it to us, so we'll drop that in. Enjoy the video.
Okay, as I've already said, this is the early Ford V8 Club's annual swap meet. They haven't actually held this event since prior to the COVID outbreak, so it's been a few years. And as a result, some of the vendors have said that, yeah, normally it's a bigger turnout for vendors and shoppers alike. Now, in general, most of the vendors, for the most part, they're liquidating cast-off parts from their own personal projects. Some of them were selling parts that were, the result of friends or family members who were hoarders and just kept everything. I wouldn't know what they're talking about. I do not resemble that at all. Stop saying that. I wish people would just stop saying that. Anyways, it was interesting. It was good. We had exceptionally high hopes on and a shopping list and a lot of cash in our pocket to pick up items that we felt we needed for the 59 A flathead we're currently assembling, working on, or attempting to assemble. And we got a few odds and ends, but not really what we were looking for. However, everyone there was super nice, super neat, and the prices were quite reasonable. We didn't think that anything was outrageous. Just not exactly everything we were looking for, and there was a fair amount of items for the small block Chevy, because a lot of times when you're building a hot rod, the small block Chevy was the go-to for a long time, so there's quite a few small block Chevy parts. As you can see, the heads right there. But otherwise, it was an excellent show. We had an excellent time. It coincided with the Good Guys Southern California Nationals, so from here we went there. There were a couple cars on display. This gorgeous, really restored 36. Please don't crucify me on that one. And a kind of a very special 32 that we'll look to next. This was gorgeously restored. It's just beautiful. This car here is a incredibly interesting barn find survivor. That gentleman and his father acquired from the estate of a former member of the club, and they got running, and you kind of hear some background on it. It's a beautiful car, man.
For its age.
Oh yeah, well it's one of those things. It's kind of
hard to see two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's perfect the way it is. Anyone does anything to this would be a crime.
What are you doing in your picture?
Yeah, if you would.
That is amazing. It sat for 54 years. We got it, and I changed the oil and cleaned the plugs and oiled the cylinders and started on the 4th try. I think the numbers match the frame and the transmission. Really good stuff. If you'd like, I'll send you a video of the day we started it. Here we are about to start 1932 Ford that hasn't started in 54 years. It's pretty much all original, and except the fuel pump. So we have a temporary fuel pump here. We'll see what happens. See what happens here. Sounds better. Another little whisper of this. Looks like one of us here. Kind of rattling for a bit there. You know, it's kind of rattling for a while until it pumped up its oil. About to break. Oh well, that's good enough, I guess, on the video. That was something special. That 32 Tudor. What an amazing story. Having been neglected for 53 years and then brought back to life. So relatively easy. We didn't see any of the work they went through before, leading up to the first crank, but that was the first crank, and he was happy to just reach over. Anytime anyone walked up, a gentleman would go around, flip on the ignition switch, and touch the starter, and it just took not even a full crank and it came back to life. So good job, gentlemen. That's pretty awesome. As I said, and we're talking to him, the only thing it needs now is to be driven. So what a sweet car. Anyways, let's go over our finds, our pickings from the swap meet. One of the things that we don't have for the 59A is a timing cover. So we went and picked up this timing cover. We really wanted was a timing cover that is 2-bolt. And this is the 3-bolt. So this is for an earlier style distributor, not the later style distributor. So, which didn't stop us from buying most of a later style distributor in pretty rough shape. But this was like, 15 bucks, so we went in and picked it up. We did, since we got that cover, get this earlier style distributor. Should work well. Industrial Argentina, interesting. This distributor is a for an earlier style Ford V8. However, with this timing cover, it'll work on our 59A, it should. The seller stated that he had already rebuilt it and rewired it to run 12 volt with a negative ground. So, in theory, this should wire in and run just like any others. It also came with these extra caps and wires that are very used. Wall hangers? I don't know. We'll need to figure out how to wire these caps up. I'll probably open this up just to familiarize myself and get a good solid feeling about it as a unit. Another thing we got this set of pedal controls for a 36 Ford. Our two hot rod projects, we got some pedals laying around, but hopefully between the 2 or 3 now that we have, we can put together something pretty sweet, especially since we're using something more like a 36 cross member instead of the 32 cross member between the 32 rails. So hopefully this will work properly with the Trog build. And finally, we got 2 Ford V8 generators. They both spin freely. Supposedly they're both good. This one looks like it might be for a truck. Who knows? They'll probably both work either way. Something we are missing with the other motor. We got the two. No, I guess both will work. They wouldn't necessarily work with the manifold we have, with the 3 carburetor manifold. They're too long. But if we ran a 2 carburetor manifold or something, they would work. Other option would be to replace the front, the mount here, with a offset one, and they do make those. We can unbolt this and bolt on something else. So supposedly they work. I'm going to look into what it takes to convert them to 12 volt. I imagine a lot of that has to do with the voltage regulator, which is an external piece, mechanical external piece, and then maybe a resistance, or some resistors or something. I don't know, but I'll look into it. Either pay someone else to do it or do it. Now, one thing we might do is like convert one to actually put like a 40 amp alternator guts in it with an internal regulator. And then it just looks like a generator. It's actually a small alternator. But one of the cars, the one that we plan on putting the 59A engine in, we want to run in Trog, and it's our understanding with Trog, it needs to be, it could be 12 volt, but it's still got to be a generator. It can't be a alternator. So we'll have to do something about that. Actually, relatively slim pickings. We were hoping for a heck of a lot more, but it is what it is, and look forward to more early Ford content. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the Pit Stop Ranch, hit the like button, and if you would, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Really appreciate it. Until next time, have a pickin-tastic day.